What about, do you have any methodologies for identifying what personas are ideal within a buying cycle?
Hmm, that's a very interesting question. What personas in a buying cycle? Because often nowadays there's so many variables that go into that, in company size, culture. Culture is an ever more present one when we look at, well, actually, we have a really flat leadership structure, and you can look at that. Well, what does that actually mean? Does that mean they all get in a room and have a conversation before about it? Or does it mean there's actually, that's what they represent and everyone is a senior manager, but actually there's a hot-headed COO at the helm of that? And it's, when you think about those variables there, it starts to get quite interesting. And as it get, and I think looking at it, a very simplistic view is that you have to appeal uh, to the most amount of people in that company as you can. And you look at that from a marketing perspective and you go, how does my message hit home with the group of people, or this, is there a bigger group that I can identify within, I don't know, IT specialists, or is there a smaller group? And it gets into that behavioral data to try and figure out um, not just who they are and where they sit, but actually how they influence the business. Because naturally, someone looking at naturally someone looking at different aspects of a tool that they don't already own, but is just an IT administrator, maybe doing research, and you can interpret from their behavior where they stand in the culture. So really, I guess I take a more detailed approach into that and don't necessarily try and categorize into buyer personas, but try and look at behaviors and try and, as much as I can, ignore what it says on their title and just really look at their buying behaviors early on and early signals there. So what that means from a prospecting perspective is really try and get web data as much as possible, behavioral data. Your brand holds a lot of weight, and it still does. So to give you an example, when I did some subcontracting at Google, they had massive open rates because it was reflective of their brand. Now you take that one level further and you go, okay, what was the people that actually opened and did that kind, what's their sub level, what's their interaction with the brand, and then use that to build like a nurture of on the back of it. Cold stuff doesn't work anymore. It's brand and advertising still has such a massive part to play, which I don't think people often realize. They just go, well, let's scrape some data and send out some cold emails.